From clarkwoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic with Chris and Steve. This is episode number 41. I'm Steve.
No, you're not. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm Dr. Chris.
I'm Dr. Chris. I got an email.
Jeez, we're already kicking off emails?
No, not this one.
Oh, okay.
Not this one. Just, you said Dr. Chris, and it made me think of it. I got an email from the institution where I teach about a hooding ceremony.
That sounds racist.
It does sound very racist, doesn't it? It was for PhD candidates, in fact. Not that there hasn't been a PhD candidate who is also a racist, but they were talking about hooding them.
In the Klan?
Yeah. They were going to hood the PhDs, and I was invited to join them.
Oh, you're going to become a PhD?
I'm not. No, I mean, so I was invited as a faculty member to go see the PhDs be hooded.
Can I come?
I don't know. Can you?
Yes, I did last night. Actually, speaking of which, I haven't jerked.
You haven't come in a while?
I haven't jerked it in a while. I don't know why. Maybe it was the shingles or whatever.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like it. And last night I had the urge.
Okay.
So I did, and it was fucking, it was a lot.
It was a lot. you had a lot of cleanup?
I actually...
you got it.
It hit my cheek. And I'm not exactly sure how, because
my
computer fucking was in the way.
It leapt over the computer screen.
I don't know. I should check the back of it when I get home on Monday.
nice little white spot on your Apple. You know, there's part of it that doesn't quite light up like it used to.
I'll just clean it up with the sponge.
Got it on your cheek. Did I talk like I don't know?
This didn't go in my mouth.
That is a bright side. I don't know. I think we recorded last week after. I can't remember.
After you came in your mouth?
After I came in my mouth. Yes, it was definitely after that. No, there was a guy who I follow on the Facebook, and he presented his very brief review. Well, it wasn't that. It's somewhere in the conversation about Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I saw it, by the way.
You did? Oh, okay. So we can talk.
I did enjoy it.
Okay, we got to talk about it. We'll get to that. His somewhere in the comments, he made the observation that it was like one big Marvel jerk off. That's what it felt. So he did not like it. Is the impression that I got. And I made a comment. Let me see if I can find this comment on the Twitter, because...
Why is everything with you?
Just because.
It's like when your brother's in town, he calls every highway the whatever.
The whatever. Oh, that California trait of his. Yeah, I had a friend who was originally from down south, but spent a lot of time in California, and she did the same thing.
I'm going to go on the 495. Fuck you. It's 495.
My Facebook comment, my Twitter comment about something I saw on Facebook, because I'm totally not willing to get into confrontation, was I saw a Facebook friend refer to Age of Ultron as a Marvel jerk-off. If that's what it was, I'm happy to have had Marvel come all over my face.
That's gross.
You were apparently happy to have yourself come all over your face. Well,
I wasn't happy to have it. I quickly wiped it off my face. Yeah, well, I have to wear glasses.
Well, but
that apparently isn't an issue, because it apparently will magically go around my glasses and into my eye, just like the computer fucking monitor.
You need to get yourself to a sperm bank and describe what your sperm can do, because I am guarantee you can make a lot of... Look at them.
It's not sperm, it's just the ejaculate.
You can make a fuck ton of money. I don't know. Do the women who go into the sperm bank, do they really think that much? They're like, ejaculate, sperm, it doesn't matter. That guy can do magic things with his jizz. I want his babies.
I don't know if people want my babies.
Oh, well, if you can do magic things with your jizz, I want your babies. Anyway, so
the dirty looks could be seen on the audio podcast.
But a friend of mine responded.
Oh, good. We're getting on Twitter
to this. Well, first, a male friend responded, I think I know which friend you're talking about, and he is in no position to criticize cinematic wank fests, which made me feel better. But then one of my female friends responded, are there not metaphors that don't involve ejaculate to indicate enjoyment? Why does it always have to be degrading, i.e. on someone's face? Like, where, other than porn, is someone jerking off on someone else's face? To which I wrote, a fair point, I'm sorry, it was the other person's jerk-off comment that set me off. I should have thought more before posting. And then she made me feel a little bit better by saying it wasn't you specifically either. Every time a tentpole movie comes out, I see a lot of nerdgasm, splooge, jizz comments. Like, nerdgasm, I think, being the most prevalent of those. But, so anyway,
well,
you got
that was very interesting in conversation you had with your friends.
You got a little cum on your cheek, and you saw Avengers Age of Ultron.
So I just want to bring something up because we're talking about male ejaculate for a second,
Yes.
but I want to talk about female ejaculate.
Oh, okay,
for
please
a
do.
moment. And I was listening to Dr. Steve's show. It's Weird Medicine. He does the podcast.
That's the real doctor in this relationship.
Real doctor. It's not me. I'm not a doctor.
Yes.
And I was listening to his show, and there was like a study recently about female ejaculate. It was said female ejaculate is just pee, and he was like, I'm a doctor, and this is a false statement.
Yeah, no, that I know that's not true.
Because the study was studying women that had a problem with peeing during intercourse, because they had a problem with their bladder or something, and so therefore, like, all of the study participants like had presence of urine in their fluid
because they were because
they had this issue,
right.
And then, like, there was, like, the internet rolled with it and were like, female ejaculate is pee, and that's the end of the story.
Got it. Yes.
And he was mad about this, and I am also mad because, like, it's not.
It is not. No,
it's lady splooge.
It's lady splooge.
Which he explained comes out of, like, the female version of the prostate, which, because they don't have a prostate.
Right.
It's like, what is basically the same.
Got it.
Or like their equivalent of the prostate. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Because I am, again, not a doctor.
You are not a doctor.
But your lady splooges are, in fact, lady splooge and not urine. So, hooray!
Hooray for lady splooge.
Thank you, Dr. Steve. And listen to his show, Weird Medicine, if you want to get grossed out and hear about people talk about penises for an hour. Aside from us. Only medically.
Medically speak of penises.
Yes.
Speak of penises medically. Where else can you put the adverb in that sentence to make it mean something different?
But the thing is, he's
speak medically of penises.
He's got this really deep voice, and he's a funny dude.
Yeah.
Besides, so it's definitely worth a listen.
Got it. So you mentioned two things that I think we need to do a deep dive on, or delve deeper on. You mentioned that you've got your desire to jerk off back because the shingles is kind of going away. So there's the shingles thing, but and then there's Avengers after that. But the shingles is better.
Yeah, I'm less in pain and more itchy at this point. Is that the progression?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
good.
as I remember it.
Like sometimes I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, I want to itch, and I'm trying the best that I can not to. Mm-hmm. But it's actually more annoying with the itchiness than it was with the pain, because I didn't get the pain like super severe. I mean, there was times where I was like, fuck, this hurts.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't like constant.
Yes, the itching is it's funny because both of them are a pain in the ass, or not in the ass. They're a pain in the ribs.
Well, depending on where you get it. And we both got it on similar spots.
I don't think you can get shingles on your ass.
You can get it on your face though.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a bonus for both of us, because neither of us got shingles on our face.
Neither of us.
Except for this fucking thing I have on my neck.
Yeah, you do, which is why I'm kind of
I'm
kind of looking forward instead of
nothing to do with my shingles.
We should mention that we are once again recording in the car.
Which is why we're sitting profile to each other.
Profile, and that is why I'm not staring at your at the growth on your neck.
I'm trying after the show, I'm just gonna go get it lanced or something.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll
dump a bottle of peroxide on it and slap a Band-Aid on it,
You get a little bit of splooge out of the.
That wasn't on this side. It was on this side.
No, but I mean, it will give off its own splooge. I mean, that's what lancing a boil tends to do, right? It's boil splooge.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a little bit of splooge, which is a fun word to say.
I don't think it's a boil. I think it's just a zit.
Well, I mean, but a zit has splooge. Did you get it? You ever get any satisfaction when you were more zitty as a kid from popping the zit and seeing how far the
This has just been a really gross show so far.
Yes.
No, I didn't really get satisfaction.
It'll be like that. We'll get something deep at the end, like the Robin Williams one, where we started off talking about peeing for the first however long of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a subject that's really.
I know there's nothing. News. Yeah.
Except for fucking. All right, so
okay,
it's back up. It's come back up because the fucking report came out, and then Deflategate is back on.
Oh, motherfuckers!
Now, for folks of you that aren't in the greater New England area,
who all think that we're scumbags for liking our team, who won
the Super Bowl,
4 Super Bowls
with normally inflated balls, and played half of that game, mind you, half of that game with normally inflated balls, and scored more points with the normally inflated balls
than they did without the normally.
And apparently, this is the most egregious thing that can happen in the National Football League.
Yes.
And I was listening to Bill Burr today, and he was talking about it, and he was just like, the guy that's the coach of the Colts, he's also like part of the rules committee.
Oh, of course he is.
And so, like, back in the day when we were dominating in the early aughts, he was just like on the rules committee. He's like, well, these fucking guys are hitting our receivers too hard, or blah 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 blah. And then they changed the rules so our team couldn't do the things that we were doing anymore.
Well, yeah.
And so then we had to adjust because of this asshole. And it's the same fucking asshole, this guy on the fucking Colts that can't fucking lose with dignity.
Nope.
He's just like, I need to fucking they had balls that were different because they were, they were different, so therefore they had an advantage. No.
Why is he prejudiced against different balls?
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Okay.
I'm just sick of this shit. And you know what happened with the fucking Seahawks? We beat them. It was a very awesome play at the very end of the game.
Yes.
And you know what the coach of the Seahawks did? He didn't say,
nope.
There's something, blah, 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 blah. He said, you know what? Good game. We're going to fuck you up next year.
Yes.
You're supposed to do, like a fucking, I don't want to say like a man, because like a fucking human being.
Yes.
Fucking say, hey, you bested me. I'm going to fucking try harder next time and then beat you, instead of fucking being a baby and saying your balls were deflated and saying, sorry.
Yeah.
That was my rant.
There's an article I'll try to find and put in the show notes that was about how pretty much all of the marquee the teams with marquee quarterbacks better be watching out, because this sort of thing is going to start happening to all of them. That the rules committee, in one way or another, the headline was basically all I read, so I shouldn't go too much into it. But it was basically an article about how your marquee quarterbacks better watch out, because Tom is just he's the scapegoat right now, but pretty soon they'll be finding reasons to come after all these guys. And the other example of the rules thing is, and I don't know if it's the same guy, but the substitutions that the Patriots were doing, where they were having what the heck was the deal? You'd have a tight end who was not eligible, but a lineman who was eligible, or something like that. They were confusing in terms of who was an eligible receiver and who wasn't. That is now illegal. You can't do that.
Oh, no.
So that I remember reading that in the off season is a change that's been made. So the same thing continues to happen. Bill Belichick is a sneaky, smart motherfucker, and they're just going to keep.
It's like, you did this. Let's make a rule that he can't do this anymore. Let's make a rule that he doesn't do it.
You know what he'll do? He'll come up with some other fucking way to do it. And that's not cheating. He is using what the rules are to accomplish his goals.
Uh-oh. You're getting a phone call in the middle of the show?
I am getting a phone call. That is a phone call. It will go to voicemail.
Was that your mom?
It was my mom or my dad.
Oh, okay.
It was my mom or my dad.
Should have put him on speakerphone. We could have had him on the show.
Well, it could have been my mom, and in that case, I don't want
to. She probably wouldn't want to be on the show.
Wouldn't want to be on the show. So yeah, that is a bummer. And
fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's. I'll be glad when the season's back on. Although then
they're gonna make it so he can't play games because of this, because Brady. Oh, he knew, but there's no proof that he knew.
There's no proof that but he knew.
So they're gonna reprimand him for something that maybe happened. No,
maybe.
That's stupid.
I don't know. It's dumb. It's one of those things that that I have to mute people about on Twitter. I don't know if you can do that in the main regular Twitter client, but I mute people in Tweetbot, which is the Twitter app that I use. Sometimes for weeks on end, sometimes for months on end. There is a guy that I knew casually when he lived in New Hampshire. He moved to New York, and he has been anti-Belichick, Patriots, whatever, the whole way. He's probably a Jets fan. I am given to believe, and I muted him for a week when the news broke about this because I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear these people who have shitty teams gloating about punishments being doled out on our good team.
Yeah, well, you know what? Every team does things like this. They try to figure out ways to help them win.
Yes,
and
that's the goal of the game. Yes.
Yes, and if it's skirting the rules slightly, or if it's breaking them a little bit, you know what? Good for them if they get away with it.
Absolutely, you have to know. I mean,
like,
anyway.
Okay, if people are going to use the argument that these people are our role models and they should be held to a higher standard, and I'm like, look at the people that are in corporate America that do nothing but try to skirt the rules to try to make it so they don't have to pay taxes or do all these things, and let's fuck over people because it's good for the shareholders or our fucking pockets. These are people that you should be holding to a higher standard. Not a fucking football player who's there for our fucking entertainment.
But those people are the pillars of our free market economy. We can't shit on them.
Oh yeah, sorry. But the guy that fucking throws a ball across the field and fucks a supermodel is apparently more important as far as our lofty goals as people. I don't know,
Whatever. What'd you think of Avengers? You enjoyed it?
I did enjoy it, and I understand what you were talking about that
the middle section.
The middle section. It wasn't like you said. It wasn't as substantial, and it kind of just things still happened. Like
yes.
plot happened.
Yeah.
Like in that part, and I was like, okay, this is fine. They're not all just in this fucking magic spaceship talking for a long time.
Yeah,
and then not
doing anything. So I went and saw it for the second time yesterday. We're recording this on Friday. I went for the second time on Thursday, and one of the people that I went to go see it with mentioned to me.
Did you see it in 3D?
I did not. The first time I did. The first time I saw it in 3D IMAX.
I did as well in Reading at the Jordans.
I was annoyed by. I wish I'd been able to see it in IMAX without the 3D. The glasses start to, especially.
Try wearing two glasses.
Yeah, I know. I'll stop complaining. Anyway, the person that I saw it with yesterday in 2D at the Showcase in Lowell. Hold on.
I need a little bit of air in here. There we go. Showcase Cinemas Lowell. That's where you were at. Oh. That was a small little beep. Showcase Cinemas in Lowell. You gonna edit that part out?
I'm gonna edit that part out. So. Or not.
Who cares? Whatever. People will be like, "Oh, it's just like I'm in my car."
So I went to the Showcase Cinemas. The person that I saw it with afterwards mentioned that there was sort of an action sequence in his mind every 10 minutes, and that Joss Whedon, that he could tell because there's been a lot of stuff back and forth about. What Joss's vision for the movie was, what Marvel's vision for the movie was. Not bad stuff, just that, there was a lot of movie, and the studio at some points wanted one thing, and Joss wanted something at a different point. And this person was saying that Josh certainly wouldn't have been the one to say that we need an action sequence every 10 minutes. First of all, I don't think there really is an action sequence every 10 minutes, but no. I think it really does speak to what you were saying, because I really think you are not alone in feeling like the middle section of that first Avengers movie was slow. And I think the studio had to know that, and the studio probably went in and was like, we need to break up that sort of slow Joss Whedon middle section. And anyway, so this comment that the friend made to me made me come back to like, I don't mind Joss Whedon. You have said you are not
I'm not enthralled with him like the rest of the
right.
world.
It makes me wonder if the people who are less thrilled with this Avengers movie are the more like the people who are going because they're Joss Whedon fans, as opposed to the people who are going because they are Marvel fans.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything to that?
I think that might be exactly it, because I mean, I like I said, I don't mind his little witty dialogue, and
right.
I thought it added to the film. But yeah, and like I just liked this movie better. It was more well rounded as far as a.
Yeah. Now,
and I'm trying not to do spoilers.
Yeah. No. So there's some people who have said that he will be, his influence on the cinematic universe will be missed.
But the next Avengers movie is not going to be out till what is it, 2016?
Yes. Well, so here's a couple of very interesting. Let me see if I can.
Or is it 2017?
2018.
2018 is the first part of the Infinity War.
Yes. So they announced a couple things this week that I thought were really interesting. One is they're going to shoot it in a new IMAX camera. They're going to shoot both parts of those. Second thing, although maybe this wasn't this week, is that the guys who directed the second Captain America movie, which you still haven't seen,
which I need to. I keep on hearing good things.
That those guys are now in charge of not only the third Captain America movie, which we want to talk about in a second, but also the two Avengers movies in 2018 and 2019, and the people who are writing are the people who wrote first, second, and third Cap. They wrote the second Thor movie, and they're going to be writing. So they're also going to be the guys writing this next two Avengers movies. So I feel like the movie studio, even though they're probably pretty thrilled with what Joss Whedon did for them, they've kind of aligned behind these two other guys. There's a pair of brothers who are the directors, and a pair of not brothers who are the writers.
The Coen Brothers?
No.
That would be amazing. I would love to see Avengers Infinity War directed by the Coen Brothers.
What would that look like? I mean, I'll bring up the thing I was going to bring up later, but who do you think, like, character-wise, would...
They would have to have John Goodman in it.
John Goodman. Who would he play? That's a
because they already cast Thanos, so he can't be that.
He can't be Thanos, but you wouldn't want just John Goodman's voice. I mean, John Goodman's voice is good enough. I mean, you know, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, we got that going. So he's a good voice actor, but I feel like you'd want to see John Goodman on film, and I just don't know. Like, they already have a Kingpin in the Daredevil TV show, so you couldn't use.
Yeah, and they have a Kingpin in the Daredevil.
Yeah,
movie.
But that doesn't count.
What about a Bullseye?
John Goodman is Bullseye. I mean, maybe you just recast the whole thing. Maybe it's a Coen Brothers Avengers alternate universe.
Yes.
In that case, John Goodman could be. He could be Iron Man. Be a much bigger Iron Man. Yeah,
well, you know he was in a movie a couple of years ago, and he kind of trimmed down a little bit.
He could be the Hulk.
Are they going to use the Hulk anymore? Oh wait, never mind.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Yeah. No, I mean, so he could be the Hulk. Buscemi would have to be in it, right? Buscemi could be Bruce Banner. So, like, think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, so Buscemi is Bruce Banner, and then when he hulks out, he turns into John Goodman.
Yeah, sure, why not? Just not use special effects.
We gotta pitch this to the Coen Brothers, man. This needs to happen.
No.
Right?
I mean, it's a shit idea, but I think it would be funny.
It would be funny. No, it's the Russo brothers who are the directors of
Rene Russo.
No, I think you're thinking of.
That's a lady.
I think you're thinking of Mel Gibson.
Were they married?
No, they were in a movie together.
But he showed up at the premiere for the new Mad Max film.
Oh, did he really? Oh, interesting. He's not in the new Mad Max movie. He's not like Arnold trying to stay relevant and keep coming back to the.
I kind of want to see that new Terminator.
The Terminator. I feel like I
didn't see the one
spoilers, with they seem to have spoiled something pretty major in the trailer for that movie.
What, that Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it?
No, it's something about John Connor. Have you seen the latest trailer?
No.
Okay, I won't tell you.
I don't watch a lot of trailers.
Yeah, so if you want to go see that movie, my advice would be don't watch any of the trailers for it.
You can say that about any movie.
Yes, I mean, so I think I've maybe already said this. In the advance of seeing Avengers Age of Ultron, I found this, is it Comic Book Movies? No, it's like maybe CBR. Anyway, YouTube channel that had all of the commercials, all of the clips, all the trailers that had come out, and I really think you could have put together like a 30-minute cut of the movie from just the stuff that was on there. They put out way too much stuff.
All right, so like I'm trying to think back because I have the Infinity War comic books.
Yes.
Like I bought them back when they first edition probably.
Probably.
Holy smokes, these are gonna be not valuable.
Yeah. Welcome to comic book collecting from the 1990s.
Yeah, 1992, I believe. So yeah,
Something
nope.
like that. Yep,
That was so mass produced that there's like an obscene amount of them out there. Yeah. But I want to go through and reread it, but like I'm trying to think of how like the current story arc of what they're doing with the Marvel movies is going to fit into that.
Well, see, that's the interesting thing is so like Age of Ultron took its name from a comic book series storyline that had nothing to do with what we saw on screen. Captain America Civil War, which is the next Captain America movie, the description has come out. Maybe I'll get to that if we run out of material. That seems to be kind of taking from the comic book storyline, but it really is deviating quite a bit. So when it comes to Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, they did like 3 of them back then, and they've done a more recent one called Infinity.
Well, they did that one where Thanos was collecting the Infinity Gems.
So that was Infinity Gauntlet.
No, I thought that was before.
Oh wait, no,
Infinity
you're right.
Gauntlet.
Yeah, they sort of lead. Anyway, so the common thread. I said anyway because I don't want to get it wrong.
Anyway.
Common thread is Thanos. They've got Thanos. Second common thread is a collection of the stones. I think they've got that. But then there's stuff that I don't know. Like in the original Infinity Gauntlet, one of the things that was going on was he was courting death, which is what the reference was at the very end of the very first Avengers movie. When the guy says to challenge the humans is to court death. Well, that's what Thanos wants to do. He's in love with death. In the Infinity Gauntlet in the comics, he snapped his fingers and wiped out half of existence.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know that that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I mean how do you fucking do that? It's just like, okay, everybody's gone. Hooray!
Right. I mean, I guess you could. That would be a way in which to that would be a way in which to basically save your big stars for the second movie. I think probably they're just borrowing the title, using Thanos and the gems, and then I would imagine they're kind of going their own way from there because those comics are way too tied into their own continuity for it to make sense in the movies. I think
there was back in the 90s as well, back in the fighting game heyday. When like Street Fighter and they had Street Fighter versus X-Men.
Yeah.
But like before they had Marvel versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, it was a Marvel versus Capcom, or was it just Marvel?
Well, it started as Marvel versus Street Fighter,
okay.
But before that came out, there was a Marvel superheroes fighting game, which is using the same characters that was in that in the Street Fighter one. But it had an interesting dynamic, and Thanos was actually the final boss.
Okay.
I think.
But
like you would occasionally like an Infinity Gem would be like on the map and you pick it up and you could use it like you use like the Mind Gem and it would do something, I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But it was like you could do a move while you had it like on your person.
Yeah.
And then like people could like hit you and knock it out of you and then grab it and use it and whatever. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean they've got the basic stuff in place. Where they go with it from there is kind of nutty. Now, I mean, I wanted to bring up something from Age of Ultron, but I don't want to.
Is it from the early? You could just say spoilers.
No, it's from late. I mean, I think going into it, I knew they would. I think going into it, you can kind of assume, given that they've spent a lot of time on these Infinity Gems, that one of them might show up in this big tentpole movie, and one of them does. And I was really interested in the way that they use that, because the way they use it in the movie is not the way that it's used in the comics. There's a character who ends up with the Infinity Stone in Avengers: Age of Ultron, and he is not a character who traditionally has that stone in the comics. So I really like that they're not feeling beholden to like 60, 70 years of continuity. They're just like, you know what, we're making what works for our damn movies.
You know, it needs to fit in. Well, like, you know, this movie is actually pretty long. It's like 2.5 hours.
It says like 4 minutes shorter than the previous one, but yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I surprisingly didn't have to urinate, like unlike you.
I did not have to urinate. I planned ahead so that I wouldn't, and I urinated a lot afterwards.
I pissed like before, and I didn't even have to afterwards.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, we know, we've established that I have the weaker bladder. There's no...
Yes, that means I am more of a man.
You are. So they okay, I will say this because it's on my mind. So they announced this week the full cast list. You mentioned there won't be, this is why I wanted to bring it up, that there won't be an Avengers movie until 2018, 2019. Well. So among the people who will be in Captain America Civil War are Captain America.
What?
Tony Stark. Black Widow.
Okay.
The Winter Soldier from the previous...
that was I just want to bring it up just briefly. Like that scene between Black Widow and Hulk where she was getting all up on his giant green dick. Am I not supposed to say that?
When they were playing
Jeremy Renner
hide the zucchini? Yeah, that was, you know... It was a good scene.
That seemed painful. I don't know how she did it.
Yeah, it did.
Good for her. That was a joke, son.
So you got Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, the Winter Soldier. You got the Falcon, who was in
Captain Falcon,
the Captain America movie. He makes a small appearance in Age of Ultron. You've also got the Vision, who first appeared in Age of Ultron.
Okay.
You've got Hawkeye.
Wow.
One of the Avengers. You've got War Machine. Traditionally from the Iron Man movies. You've got Scarlet Witch.
Oh.
So I have just named a whole bunch of Avengers. I've named all but 2 Avengers are in the next Captain America movie. And as if that is not enough, Ant-Man will be in the next Captain America movie.
Ant-Man knows where the ants will grow.
So we get Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd will be in that movie. We will also be introduced to the Black Panther.
Oh.
We will also get and this is my favorite.
They put more people in this movie, please.
That's my favorite. They are bringing back General Ross from the Incredible Hulk. Because this is why it's my favorite announcement of all of them. Is because everyone likes to shit on the Incredible Hulk. This is the Ed Norton one.
I didn't see it.
Everyone likes to shit on it, but it is an official part of the universe. It is a damn good movie for 2/3 of it, and the last third, But they're bringing back William Hurt, who played General Ross, which is a nice nod to the fact that movie did happen. So I am very pleased. And there's also, you say, can they add anybody else?
Spider-Man?
Probably
Spider-Man?
Probably Spider-Man. They have not announced who Spider-Man is.
Didn't they say that Donald Glover was going to be in it?
There was a rumor, but it's going to be a white dude. It's going to be a young white kid, probably.
I don't know. I'd like to see like Donald Glover. I like him. Like Community was a great show, and he was pretty darn funny in that.
Yeah. I mean, he would be good, but I'm not surprised that they're going with white ass Peter Parker one more time, because they want to get Peter Parker right, is what they've said. Is that one of the things that is great about Peter Parker is that once he puts on the mask, he is joking all the damn time, and they've tried that. I mean, Tobey Maguire tried it; he wasn't that funny. Andrew Garfield tried it, and he was not that funny either. He was a little bit closer in my mind. I didn't see the second one. Anyway, I don't think they could put any more people in that movie. I really don't.
They should put us in it.
They should put us in it, and they should put John Goodman in it and get the
Coen Brothers.
Or the Farrelly brothers. What are they up to?
No.
Or the Wachowski brothers. We can't call the Wachowski brothers anymore.
Because one of them's a lady now.
One of them is a lady now.
Well, good for her.
It's good for her, yeah. I just, in terms of the
We're gonna tread on like getting
in terms of
the internet mad at us.
Yes.
The internet outrage machine is gonna be outraged about something you're about to say.
Yes, I think so. No, I mean maybe. When I try to imagine the either sex change operation, it sounds painful to me.
Yeah, obviously, if you're gonna like take your dick apart and make it into a vagina,
off, yeah, or splitting it, yeah, you would be splitting it in that version. The other version sounds kind of more. I mean, going from female to male. I don't know how they do that, and I think I will have to do some research, because how exactly do you construct the penis? What do you construct it out of?
Yeah, I guess maybe just pump up the clit a bunch.
Maybe, but how would it stay pumped up? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, maybe hormones help with that. We should get Chaz Bono on the show.
Well, I am vaguely acquainted with someone who is transitioning
from female to
male. Oh. He is getting how did he refer to it? He's getting top surgery on the top. I imagine it's a double mastectomy is what we're talking about.
If I was going to go the route, if I was a trans person, I think that's the correct terminology. I don't think I'm saying something offensive, but I might be soon. So
yeah,
hold on to your horses, folks.
Okay.
I don't think I'd want to get rid of my dick. I think I would just keep it. Like I'd just be what they call in pornography a tranny.
A tranny, yes.
But I don't think I would want to do that, because I have way too much hair, and I don't know how the degree of hormones I'd probably have to take to get rid of all this chest hair would be.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was just distracted by the fact that one of the cars going through this parking lot is dragging a rather large branch behind it.
And this one over here has smiley faces all over it.
It does. There's a lot of... Have we said where we're... we said we're in a parking lot.
We're in the... we did during the test.
During the test, but we're in the parking lot of Cinemagic in
Salisbury.
I was trying to get fucking directions to here on the way. I was asking Siri, and it said Cinemagic, as if it was like a cinnamon bun place, like a magical cinnamon bun place in like... I finally got it to recognize Salisbury, but it's like I got no idea.
One of my favorite earlier Louis C.K. bits was when he was talking about Cinnabon, and you know how bad you are as far as when you're eating is that when you go to you get a Cinnabon, like butchering this, you get a Cinnabon at the airport you arrive in. And the distinction being, let me explain the joke, because Louis didn't have to, and he got tons of laughs.
Maybe that I'm slow.
The distinction is that when you arrive at a place, the world is your oyster. You can
you can
anywhere.
have anything you want, and you still went to.
And he still went and got a fucking Cinnabon.
I got it. Yeah. I mean, Cinnabon? I did have this complaint. I mean, and as I think we've talked about on the show, I am in the process of getting ready to move. That there's progress there. It's supposed to happen by the end of the month, and I will no longer have the Mall of New Hampshire as my closest mall. And
it's going to be the Pheasant Lane Mall again.
Exactly, it'd be good old Pheasant Lane again. My biggest complaint about the Mall of New Hampshire was that there was no place to get a fucking cookie. Like, you couldn't get a fucking cookie, and the closest you could get when you were roaming around there was Cinnabon, and like, I feel that way about Cinnabon just in general. Cinnabon is not I don't think I would ever, in much the way that Louis C.K. is talking about, I would never actively choose Cinnabon. It's just like, I got no other choices, I'll go to fucking Cinnabon. I don't know. Maybe it's just I have prejudice.
You want a sweet treat? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm generally always looking for a fucking cookie.
Subway.
There's no Subway in the Mall of New Hampshire. There's no. The only place where I eventually figured out you could get a cookie on occasion was Glorious something or others. It was a knockoff coffee place, because there's no Starbucks in there either. They finally do have a Dunkin' Donut.
Don't be all upset that there's no national coffee chain. And you have to go to a local place to get a fucking coffee. What I'm saying about that is I don't care about the fucking coffee. I'm talking about where I know I can get a fucking cookie. Now, Dunkin' Donuts used to stock a good cookie, and they just stopped.
there needs to be a cookie place. A cookie place
Like
is
a
part.
Mrs. Fields?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard not so great things about the Mrs. Fields at the Pheasant Lane Mall, but at least it's a fucking cookie place.
Do they make the cookies ookie?
They might. They might.
They just talk to me, Steve. How long has it been since you last came?
Oh, God.
How long will it take you to drive here?
We've got a semi-sweet cookie. It's called the Dr. Steve.
Dr. Steve.
And it is a white cookie with white frosting. And
it ain't frosting, motherfuckers.
Hey.
I'm a big fan, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but I'm a big fan of gingerbread cookies, like soft gingerbread cookies.
Yes, I like those.
There used to be a bakery right near Hong Kong.
They did,
when
yes.
I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to have them on, like, they would always have, like, the sugar clown head.
Oh.
And they would always be, like, and, like, Market Basket does it now. It's basically the exact same thing as when I was a kid, but this bakery, it might have been a bakery / butcher shop, or it might have been next to a butcher shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to go there, walk there with my mom when I was a kid, and then I'd get a freaking ginger. And that's like, that is like I think like, as far as sweets go, my comfort food.
Yeah.
Like when I go grocery shopping, if I go to Market Basket, I will get one of those cookies.
The local bakery is the thing that I feel like is my kids are going to miss out on, because the local bakery, there was one, I spent a lot of weekends with my grandfather and my aunt in Littleton.
New Hampshire?
Massachusetts. Thank you. No, way to not drive all the way up to fucking... Although, at some point, the family owned... I thought it was in Littleton. It was in some other damn L name near Littleton, New Hampshire. We owned a little bit of property. Don't anymore, as far as I know. Anyway, so there was a bakery in Littleton, Massachusetts, next to the Donnellan's supermarket that was there. And that bakery existed for a very long time. I had it a lot as a kid, and I walked in there for the first time in years when I was getting married to possibly get our cake there, maybe.
Yeah.
And I smelled the cookies, and they had these amazing, this amazing smell to them. The chocolate chip cookies there, they were tiny chocolate chips, but it's the kind of smell that you get at pretty much any local bakery that you don't get at your Dunkin' Donuts or your Starbucks or anything else, your Mrs. Fields. That is really missing. Like, I don't know where the closest local bakery is, and that makes me sad.
Well, there's one that
there used to be one in the Market Basket too.
There was one that I used to go to in Hudson when I was living up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I know which one.
And I would go to it's right near Benson's Park, and it's actually called Benson's.
Oh, okay.
And I'm giving you guys a free plug today. If you're in Hudson, New Hampshire, go to this place. They have great pastries and whatnot. And if you go in the morning, definitely get an egg sandwich. They make them good, like with a real egg and not like styrofoam, like McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts.
Right. There was a Frederick's Pastries, I think, is another one in the like Hudson, Nashua, Hollis area that I think we looked at back when we were looking at wedding cakes, and they also had good cookies. So I mean, I imagine they're still around.
We're talking about fatty stuff now.
fatty stuff. I had to buy. Speaking of fatty stuff, I am traditionally a dude who wears a medium t-shirt. Like, medium t-shirts for most of my body work really well, but now that I've gained some weight, medium t-shirts on my stomach don't look so good. So I'm doing this play, which opens tonight as we're recording this. And for like most of Tech Week, I was like, God damn it, I'm not buying anything. I'm wearing my fucking medium white t-shirt. And I was embarrassed by it the whole week, and finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out and buy a big one. So I did. I went out and bought one large white t-shirt to wear for the damn play.
Why do you have to wear white?
Because he's wearing a white shirt. He's wearing a white show is Death in the Maiden. Have you ever seen, there's a film that came out of it years ago with Sigourney Weaver and
Nope.
And Ben Kingsley. Anyway,
you mean the guy who played Gandhi?
Yes, the same guy. The guy played Gandhi, and he played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, that was entertaining.
So we're doing this play, Death in the Maiden, and it really takes place just over the course of like maybe 24 hours, not even 24 hours, like 18 hours or so. So when my character comes in at the beginning of the play, he's wearing a white dress shirt and a tie. and he basically is getting ready for bed, and underneath the white dress shirt and the tie is a white shirt. So
Ooh.
they asked me for, white shirt, and that's what I got. White shirt and pajama pants for the second 2 scenes I'm in. And underneath all of that,
Just don't get it on stage boner.
is for opening night is I have a tradition. Have I mentioned this before?
Shitty coffee?
No, I've mentioned this shitty coffee. No, my opening night tradition. This started way back.
Way back
when I did.
Look out on Lansdowne Street. He's going to tell us a story. Getting local for you there.
And I feel completely self-conscious.
Just call 1-800-50-4-GIANT for all your auto glass replacement needs.
Do they have a jingle? Or is that it?
1-800-54-GIANT. That was the...
Oh, okay, yeah. I was thinking.
Done right,
I was
done
thinking
fast.
of Water Country again.
Yeah.
Fucking Water Country. You mentioned a jingle or anything like that, and I think of fucking Water Country. For one of the first plays I did at the Players Ring, I had to strip down to my boxers, and they bought me a pair of boxers for that show because the joke referred to the type of boxers. They were SpongeBob SquarePants boxers. Oh. And every show since, I have worn them on opening night as...
Have you washed them since?
I have washed them.
Oh. You didn't give me the opportunity to say gross.
It would be... All right, let's go back. So I have this pair of SpongeBob boxers, and I wear them every opening night.
Oh, did you ever wash them?
No.
Gross.
You feel better now?
No.
So I'm wearing them now, and nobody will see them this time, which is good. When we did Temptress last year, whenever the hell that was,
you shouldn't bend over and then split your pants and everybody be like SpongeBob, whoopsie, and then go.
No, I should not do that.
Do you think that might ruin the show?
It might ruin the show.
See, this is why I can't direct a play. It's not in the script. Go with it. That's great.
You could direct a comedy. This is not a comedy. You could not direct this show, but you could.
I could direct this show.
It might not.
Don't underestimate me, Chris.
It might not. Okay.
I've realized that. Well, actually, as far as
we
directing,
should get the Coen Brothers to direct this show.
That'd be great. No, I've realized, I was in my film classes and whatnot, I was a better actor than I was a director. But I think I was a better, as far as directing, I was better at directing talent than a cinematographer.
Got it. You're better, instead of being the visual guy.
So blocking, I'd be lost with.
Yeah. As
far as a stage something that would be a stage.
But helping the actors with their motivations.
Yeah, I think I'd be good at that.
Yeah.
And if I was moderately good at that.
Moderately good at that.
I'm not going to say great, because I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Did we run out of stuff to talk about already?
No. I mean, so I got a show opening tonight, and I am very stressed out about it. We had a decent. Speaking of things ruining shows, last night two cops knocked on the door during the end of the show monologue, telling us that there was a burglar alarm going off. And if you haven't been to the Players Ring in New Hampshire, it's a very small space, comparable to many theaters you've probably been in. So when the front door opens, you can hear that shit on stage. So at a pivotal moment, we've got cops just being like, hey, you got a burglar alarm going off.
Someone was trying to burgle you.
Yeah, well, here's the kicker. There's no burglar alarm in the theater, so we have no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
Were they making it up?
No, they were not making it up. No. At any rate, so I'm really nervous. We had a decent dress rehearsal last night.
So yeah, if you're in the you can't. This will come out after.
This will come out afterwards.
So, but how many weeks?
There's 3 weeks. There's 3 weeks. And hopefully by the second weekend, I will be a little bit less stressed out. Although I think, as I mentioned maybe last time, the reviews come out in the middle, in between. So after this show that you're listening to comes out, the Thursday after this comes out, I may be sort of a wreck if I can't convince myself not to read the reviews. But all this stress has gotten me thinking, I really would like to drink heavily, and I don't, and I haven't, and I probably won't. But it did make me think that is the fact that I want to drink heavily a sign that I might be an alcoholic?
I don't think so, considering. I think the fact that you can stop yourself, and then that you have over many years
stop myself,
had it so you did not. I mean, like we've talked about it before. Like when we usually when we get together at my place to record the show, I'll have a couple of beers. Usually don't, because that means you've come to my place, and you don't want to drive home, like, because you have a very I don't want to say extremely low tolerance for alcohol, but
but I'm a little
one drink and you got a nice buzz going. Is usually what happens.
That's me.
And and being safe, mature adults, it's probably a better idea that you're not driving hammered.
Yes,
and I agree with that. I don't know where the fuck I was going.
You were saying.
You don't drink often,
right?
And I think it's just it's something that can help relieve stress and get the willikers out of you.
Yeah.
So you're not so nervous, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would have a drink before the show, because I don't know. I don't know.
There's been so many times. Well, a couple of times I did stand up without having anything to drink, and I don't know. It was weird. I didn't like it. I needed at least one. I would usually have one beer before the show, and then depending on how it went, I would either have. Well, actually, most of the time I'd have a bunch more. Regardless if I did well or did. Actually, no. If I did poorly, I'd usually not have more, and then just go home.
Got it.
And then be like miserable.
And have more at home.
Oh, that fucking no! I would just go to sleep. I would seethe for a bit and then just fall asleep.
Yeah.
But like that one time, man, I've mentioned it before. That I was doing comedy in Dover, New Hampshire, and it was a long fucking drive. Like Dover's a little bit further north than Portsmouth, which is where you're going to do your play tonight.
Yeah.
And it was just an open mic, but it was a music open mic, and it was a mistake for me to go there because these people had no interest. Like, because
they're there for music, or they're just there to drink. Yeah,
they're there to drink, and if there's hey, how's it going, buddy? They're there to drink, and if there's I don't know, if there's a band going on, it's like, oh, okay, this is fun. We'll listen to the band in the background, and there's a lot more noise coming from the stage, and so they're like, oh, but like if there's a stand up there, they're like, oh, you have to pay attention to me, even though this is not something you necessarily wanted to do. That's why, like, comedy open mics made more sense, because the people that were there to see the up and comers. I did air quotes when
up and comers. Bringing it full circle.
Stop it.
Which is how it ended up on your cheek. It went all the way around.
I don't know. Did it go around the whole world?
and then landed on my face from back on your cheek because you had it built up that much.
How did it get through the wall? That's more improbable.
So that, I mean, so...
I don't think you're a drunk.
All right, I'm not a drunk.
Considering you don't ever drink.
Okay.
And the desire to have alcohol is just something that your body is like, hey... I'm stressed out and I would like to cool off a little bit, and that's how some people unwind, and that's not alcoholism, in my opinion.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Steve.
I'm not a doctor.
All right, so we're at 53. We're closing in on the end of the show. I think that is the appropriate time for
emails. God damn it.
You may not want to. It's still
not even going to say it. I'm not saying
still a bit to me. All right,
it's still real to me, damn it.
We have an email from Brian, friend of the show, Brian. The subject is actually the most relevant. I mean, not now I'm insulting Brian. No,
fuck you, Brian. Answer emails is what Chris says.
That is coming across wrong. The thing that the subject line is relevant, not the most relevant. It is relevant. So the subject line: leather patches on tweed jackets. Settling our argument. So that's what it is. You get a tweed jacket with leather patches on the arms. That's what you get when you're a professor.
Okay, and then he
could have just left it at that, but he didn't, because he's awesome, and he always has to give us some stuff.
What else does he write?
He says, now my printer is fucking with me, so I can't read the first line. His greeting, his salutation. I'm going to assume it says, hey, you lovely fellas, which is not a safe assumption. It says, sorry I haven't written recently. I've given up my job as a librarian, and now I walk in the woods and look at trees all day, which apparently prevents one from writing emails, as I've learned.
What a dick. Is there going to be like a war between those two? Just over emails that they send to us?
There might be. Anyway, children get chickenpox vaccine at 1 year old for the first dose. At least your kids were mostly measles vaccinated while you were at Disney World, which is true.
Well, it was Disneyland.
It was Disneyland. It was, to be fair, yes, it was Disneyland. Next paragraph. The Simpsons has an instructive video on the professor jacket, and we will link that in the show notes. Unfortunately, I did not remember to send this to you in advance, so you can't comment on it.
I know which one he's talking about.
All right.
No, correction, Marge. I ruined 2 jackets.
Okay. And then he says, to keep up the good work, Brian. So thank you, Brian, for settling the argument about the tweed jackets.
Yes.
Now that took far shorter than I expected it to. So now we've got 5 minutes and 4 minutes. And
we don't have to do an hour.
We don't have to do
We've
an
done
hour.
over an hour, like
a number
lot of the
times. We have. All right. So we should just plug some stuff.
Just do the plugs.
Get the
people.
Fuck out of here.
You need to go do a play. I need to go get my boil lanced.
You have to go get your boil lance. Let it give its boil splooge onto your neck.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's boil porn out there.
I saw this thing. It was on Tosh.0 once. It was this guy had an enormous boil on his back, and it was just like a never-ending amount of pus or whatever the fuck is in it, just pouring out of it.
Ugh.
And it was probably one of the most disgusting things that I kept on trying not to watch. Then I would look again, and it would still be happening, and I'd look away, and then I'd look back, and I'd be like, "Fucking hell! Why won't this stop?"
That is. Yeah.
That was my own damn fault for watching
for Tosh.0. Yeah.
I mean, occasionally he's pretty funny.
Right, but not when he's lancing giant Hulk-sized boils.
Oh, it was so gross. Check it out on the internet. You can probably find it on www.meatspin.com.
There you go. You can find me on the internet
I didn't say you could find me on the internet at meatspin.com.
No, I know you didn't.
I am not a transgender.
I did not say that. I was using it as a transition.
Okay.
You can find me on the internet at ECC1977 on Twitters or at clarkwoods.com, of course.
And you can find me on the internet at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday IS Loser.
And you can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/41. And if you would like to get involved in the apparent email war between Brian and Leo, right? Then you can send us an email at hot@clarkwoods.com.
You can send us we had a couple of nasty emails from before, and that was fun.
You could send us nasty emails or mean tweets. We'd love to get some more of those. That was a fun.
That was a fun bit that ate up time. That wasn't us talking about stories that we already talked about before.
Hey, well, I think did we share any stories that we haven't shared before?
I definitely did.
Yeah, bakeries. You talked about bakeries today.
That was new.
That was new.
There's new material today.
New stuff out here. All right. Well, we gave the plugs.
Ape's Choice.
Oh, that's right. We can't go an episode without mentioning the Ape's Choice, which you
can buy on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. So buy it from one of those sources and listen to the new Sweethearts in all their goodness.
And then while you're listening to it, you can play with your Google like Steve does.
My Google?